about time to get with the program.
I can prove to you that's a fucking lie.
Okay. Hey, Jessie.
Yes.
We're live!
Yay! Fuck Trump!
Hey, podcasters. Apparently, we had to take a little sabbatical, and we're all back now. I'm here, as always, Mr. Guru up in the north, and with us is Mr. Jesse Cheney.
Way in the south, way in the south. I'm just gonna put it way in the south.
Jesus Christ! And do I see a Josh Cameron?
Josh Cameron!
Well,
yay!
I'm here in the northwest where the angels have trumpets. I think the statue of Moroni still has a smell of Ozzy's pee on it, and it's what we do. It's where I am, and proud to be here.
So Jesse doesn't know it, but I just recorded his entire fucking rant, and if you want to hear more about how he feels about the Trump administration, you can listen to the end of the podcast, and that will be where this fun little juicy Easter egg is. But let's talk about the ladies and atheism.
Okay, so there's 2 points that I want to make. Okay, so we've been on a little bit of sabbatical, and for that I have to apologize, only because I ended up having to find a different job, but unfortunately that different job requires me to live in a different time zone, if you will. I'm like 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. So for the first 3-4 weeks, I was just a fucking zombie, and anyone that listens and was like, "Oh my God, we need more Jesse. I can't stand it. He's gone." I apologize, but if there's no one there, fuck you, because you know what? I'm matter. And I've been playing a lot of Fallout and everything else. But anyway, that's just me. So a couple of things that I want to talk about, I want to bring up is I'm going to throw a name at you. And most of the people listening will not, they won't understand this name. So Madelyn Murray or Madelyn Murray O'Hair. Does that ring any bells for any of you?
It does, but only because I did a wiki search about 5 minutes before we started this.
Yeah, because we kind of talked about it. So Madelyn Murray was the woman who got prayer taken out of school in late 50s, early 60s.
Well, thank God for her. Nobody needs to be praying in school. That's right.
Well, and her thing was the simple fact that
not forced prayer anyway.
She didn't want her child to be put into forced prayer. And she didn't want children that were not of the Christian belief to sit there and have to say the Lord's Prayer, because that's a violation of their very own religion. So she took it to the Supreme Court, and she's the one that kind of got the ball rolling. And there's a big story behind this. I don't believe in religion. Synchronicity is kind of suspect, as that's a little bit more cosmic-y bullshit. I believe a little bit more in coincidence. Okay, so let's go back to where the story begins. I got a flyer in the mail because Georgia's looking at a couple of bills to legalize medical use of marijuana, but in oil form.
Woohoo!
Which is fine, except the laws that they've come up with and everything else are absolutely fucking asinine, one-sided, and if you look at it and say, "Oh, that seems fair," then I've got a fucking bridge to sell you, and pay no attention to the queasy feeling you get from the drink that I gave you, because you're about to get fucked.
Whoa. Speaking of Russians.
Oh, no, Bill Cosby, all the way. But basically what it was is I got a flyer in the fucking mail, and it was like from this place called the Religious Freedoms Foundation or some bullshit thing like that. But it was like, don't vote for this bill because it'll increase crime and people shouldn't do drugs and Jesus doesn't want you high. And it's like, fuck off. A, because I'm not Christian in any sense of the fucking word. B, you're spouting fucking lies and bullshit. And C, there are people in Georgia that are suffering unneededly, because they have it to where you can get in Georgia a medical marijuana card for 5% THC oil, which is about that threshold where then it starts affecting people that are epileptic or autism or all these other fucking things that you can get it for.
Yeah.
But the only problem is you can't produce it and you can't buy it because no one can produce it. So how the fuck are you supposed to get this medicine that they cleared you for if you can't get it?
That is a conundrum.
So that was on a...
Let me stop you real quick, Jesse.
Yeah, go ahead.
Josh, Jesse, where do you guys stand, if you don't mind telling the entire planet on religion? Are you guys religious at all? Are you atheist?
Nope.
Do you believe in Cthulhu?
I'm a big George R. Martin fan, and George R. Martin was influenced by H.P. Lovecraft. So, in that sense, I'm a Cthulhu fan. I do love old school Metallica, and so I like the Call of Cthulhu. But really, I'm more of a secular humanist. Some people who want to put perfectly defined box might put me in agnostic atheist. I have no problem suspending my disbelief for a God of order, a God that breathed life into the cosmos. But the idea of a God of intervention really turns my stomach. Like somehow the same God who's going to help you find your keys or pass your math test is the same God that closed his eyes during the Holocaust. Like, right? I mean, like the hubris it takes to believe in a God of intervention is something that I just can't muster.
I can dig that. All right. Jesse, where do you stand?
Me personally, I'm to the point where...
But he apparently stands too far away from the microphone, ladies and gentlemen.
My bad. My thing is this: if I had to, okay, if you push me in a corner and it's one of those I need to get a job, I'm an atheist. But if you push me in a corner where I don't need to worry about employment, I'm a Satanist. Only in the true sense of the term of more along the lines of the old style Illuminati. Christianity is one of the only religions in known religion, theology or whatever you want to call it, that has an anti-religion. And the only reason it has an anti-religion is back in the 12th, 13th, and 14th century, the Catholic Church and the church told you what you gave them for money, how many times you banged your wife, how many kids you could have. They had such control over your life that the intellectual portion of the population said, no, we're going to fuck in an orgy. We're going to do this. We're going to mock you. We're going to have a black mass. We're going to have all this other shit. The reason I say that is historically, you look at Galileo. Galileo, if it wasn't for the King of Spain, would have been burned at the stake as a heretic because he dared to say the earth revolves around the sun. And he could prove it with science, but no one wanted science because, we've got religion. And the problem that I have is this: religion kills common and critical thinking. If I live across the street from a church, I don't got a problem with the people that show up there every Sunday and every Wednesday. I really don't. More power to them. They're connecting with their fellow man. They're connecting with people that have a shared interest. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I draw the line when these motherfuckers then turn around and make a law that says I can't buy beer before 12:30 on a Sunday.
Because their religion bans it. Yeah.
Their religion says that they don't want to be able to buy beer before 12:30. So don't buy beer before 12:30. You're in church anyway. I don't go to your fucking church. I don't fucking go over there and point out little fucking and poke fucking holes in the simple fact that you're worshiping a religion that is the third copy of said religion, and I can prove it historically. Because the first instance of Christianity actually started out as a religion called Mithril. Same everything. Virgin birth, Northern Star, 3 fucking wise men, and it happened about 3,800 years that we can prove with science before Christianity ever started. So if you want to get, and no, they'll be like, we don't listen to science. We don't. Oh, but your child, did your child die of measles when he was 7? No? Oh, you're welcome. That's science. Congratulations. And I'm more along the lines of science flies us to the moon and religion flies us into buildings.
There we have it. So, Jessie is a closet Satanist and public atheist.
But only Satanist in the true sense of the term.
He's not worshiping the Bible's villain. He is praying to the altar of fuck the Bible.
I'm praying to the altar of people having more intelligence than being ruled by a goddamn comic book.
I hear you. Me, I think that there has to be some kind of energy that ties everything together in the universe, but I believe man is pretty foolish to think that they could write anything that would tell me how it actually works. It by definition needed to be greater than us. So I'm anti-organized religion, but I am not an atheist. I also kind of have an inkling that we might have been dropped here or seeded by something else. Considering how quickly, in the broad scheme of things, we're about to be getting off the planet and trying to explore, so long as we don't blow ourselves up, it only seems logical that if getting near light speeds are possible, then why wouldn't someone seed planets to make more people? That being said, who fucking knows? It's just a theory.
Question.
Yeah.
Question. So here's my question for you. Since we're talking about science, you think light speed is the answer to travel and not folding?
You mean finding a wormhole?
Kind of, because then distance isn't an issue, right?
Right. Well, I said near light speed anyway, but I like the idea of solar sails because they have the potential of like an infinite speed increase. Supposedly.
See, and where science-wise is where I think about it is that fold would make more sense because if you
how would you even do that though? You'd have to find a natural phenomenon, right? You can't just bend space by yourself, right?
Stop. But you got to remember is as human beings, we went from sailing from England to flying to England in like 150 years. Big difference. One is a 9-month 9-month fucking voyage on a ship where you're gonna get, A, molested, B, fucking scurvy, C, you're gonna have to sing all those goddamn horrible pirate songs, to jumping on an airplane in New York and flying over to Europe in 7 or 8 hours.
You know what should piss you off, though, is it only took about 150 years to get to that. But then since then, all we've done is modify and manipulate that which was created and haven't gone beyond it because we're trapped to fucking fossil fuels and we won't make electronic shit that has graphene all over it.
So I'd like to pipe in real quick. So I know, right? So, as far as where do you find a wormhole, they're all around us. The problem is they're in the quantum field. But with the quantum field, too, if we were ever to try to go inside of them, they collapse. So it's a matter of basically figuring out what's already there, how do we stabilize it, and then how do we use it to our advantage. And I suspect, and I'm not certain, so don't quote me on this, but I suspect a lot of things that are involving quantum entanglement, where something is entangled to some sort of measuring device or entangled to another particle on one side of the universe to another, is likely due to manipulating and exploiting wormholes. And so I'm sure that there's stuff there that we simply don't understand. And some of the most interesting shit that is being invented now. I'm a big fan of graphene. That's a two-dimensional construct. That's a superconductor. It's the strongest material known to man. Something that is thin as saran wrap, and take about the weight of an elephant to pop through a nail. But basically, the smaller we go, and we see this in size of like storage capacity, whether it be flash drives, micro SD cards, or whatever. The smaller we go, it seems like the better it is, the more space we get. And so there's something with us being able to go smaller and being able to be more efficient. And so I think as we start getting quantum computing and we get AI on board, is probably when we're going to start figuring out some of these things.
So can I throw something out there that might hurt your head?
Sure.
What if the key to all the stuff that we're talking about is size? What if
size matters?
Exactly. So what if you could turn a space
shuttle... I feel vindicated.
Don't worry,
she
guys.
said it was
it's just
small,
a theory.
and I thought it was average.
Oh, man.
Anyway. What if you could take the space station, space shuttle, whatever have you, and on a molecular level shrink that? So then if you think about it, now you've took something that weighs 450,000 tons and converted it down to something that weighs the same as a grain of rice.
Who here's seen the movie Interspace?
Well, I'm not talking Interspace.
Oh, yeah.
That is Interspace. They took an object and they shrunk that motherfucker down to a molecule.
Okay, so here's my question. What if you were then able to load that little fucking thing into a cannon on the surface of, on the Earth in Texas, because they like big guns, and you loaded that into a fucking quantum fucking launcher that launched this thing at 978 bazillion miles an hour, and then you launched that motherfucker out of our atmosphere and into space at like an astronomical speed. So then now you've got size versus distance, but the big thing about size is mass. I mean, if you've got something super, super small, and then when it gets to its destination, wherever you want it to go, whether it's at Pluto or whether it's here or whether it's there, as long as it didn't hit anything in its trajectory, it arrives at its destination in 3 months, where full size and under its own power would have took 30 fucking years.
Well, damn.
And so like that's cool, and I like those types of thought experiments, but I'm actually much more interested in things a little bit more plausible to what we can do in the next, I mean, realistically, like in the next 20 years. I know that people make fun of Trump talking about a space force, but I guess I don't really see a reason why we can't have a space force. I mean, I prefer it's not just to have, to play Space Invaders and try to blow up other humans. Yeah, right. But there was and I talk about this a lot. Well, I talk about this a lot, but there was like a meteor that went by Earth, I don't know, 4 years ago maybe, that had more platinum on it than, if I recall correctly, more platinum on it than all the wealth combined on Earth. And so, when we start getting into these super structures that we can create, and likely we'll figure out as we give birth to mass production of graphene, I'd like to see some sort of tractor beam technology that then captures this, right? That captures this meteor, get it in Earth's orbit, strip mine the fuck out of this thing, and then start creating these super mega structures that are built out in space.
Right, but that's what Musk is going after. He's looking at colonization of Mars, but more importantly, he's looking at space mining. But the problem that I have is, like, when are we gonna fucking learn? Like, we did it back in the fucking 12th century. We did it back in all this time immemorial, where, I mean, for fuck's sakes, people still celebrate Columbus Day. Columbus Day, he went to fucking places that had people living in it and said, I found this for Spain, and fucked everyone over there. And it's like, hello, we lived here for, God knows how fucking long, how many generations. Just because you fucking said you found us, suddenly it's Spain's? Fuck yourself. We already have a space force. It's called NASA. But the good thing is NASA is not, they are militarily kind of funded, but realistically, it's not a military operation.
Yeah, it'd be nice to try to keep it that way.
And that's the way that I'm looking at it. If we all got along on this planet, if there wasn't this segregation, those dirty Mexicans are going to come steal your jobs. You know what? First and foremost, fuck yourself, Trump, because we all are human. Human first and foremost.
Wait, Mexicans, which are they from one of the other new 3 Mexicos that we heard about?
Yeah,
exactly. one of the other ones. But the thing that gets me is everyone's got Ronald Reagan himself. He said it in a goddamn speech. The only way to unite mankind is to have an alien threat. Why do we only not? You know what I mean? Why do we only unite under a fucking threat? Why can't we not get to that point where, I'm not saying a world government, I'm not saying New World Order, I'm not Alex Jonesing this shit. I'm saying the basic fucking principle of we are all living on the same fucking rock that is hurtling through goddamn space, and there is no difference between you, Josh, or you, Chris, in your life versus anyone else on this fucking planet. There's only circumstance. You live in a country where
when they say unite, they really mean control.
No.
And so, like, when it sounds like you're somewhat speaking rhetorically when I say, why, the only thing that we can use to unite is really control. And the means to control is dumb down your population, make sure that they're so stressed out they can't pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
Studies now show that if you can't pay a single bill, I say, hey, Chris, guess what? Oh, sucks to be you. You can't pay this bill and that bill.
Oh,
well, just that stress from not being able to pay your bills will actually drop your IQ a standard deviation about 13 or 14 points. And then if you then indoctrinate people into a what to think and not a how to think mentality, and you completely divorce all public education from civics, social studies, art, humanities, things that help you expand the human consciousness,
right,
then you basically are left with the lizard brain, and you have to tap into that in order to control
exactly
people. And so this is why
the thing that gets me is these motherfuckers better realize real fucking quick. I don't give a shit if it's Trump. I don't give a shit if it's Bezos. I don't give a shit. You motherfuckers better realize real fucking quick that there is a fucking movement out there called Eat the Fucking Rich. Shit goes sideways.
What?
Shit goes all out ways. Shit goes fucking zombie apocalypse. Your fucking money is not going to protect you from me taking your shit. Do you know why? Because I will come to your house and I will sleep in the fucking face with a jagged piece of fucking metal that I was able to fucking craft out of something. Fuck you, fuck your money, fuck your bullshit ways. You only are rich because we put value to it. The minute we don't value your dollar, Bezos, I'm coming to fucking get your ass.
And I just want everyone to know that I actually submitted a recipe for a barbecue sauce that makes rich marbled human flesh taste a whole lot like chicken. So just watch out, guys.
That's all I'm putting out there. The only reason it's not a threat. It's a goddamn promise. Because the way that we're going right now is it's going to go to the point where it is going to be, you have the top 1% that have fucking everything, and it's fucking Elysium. Watch the movie. So take it as fucking history.
I can't condone people in the face with jagged pieces of metal, unless maybe we're living in some sort of post-apocalyptic steampunk era. But I think that this is why having honest voices are so important. Like. A real brief aside, you guys obviously know I'm fairly smitten with Alexandria OcasioCortez.
Wow. I love her.
We had a big diatribe, and Chris pointed out that with all the entire Mueller investigation, the 2 or 3 minutes that Alexandria questioned the lawyer, I can't think of his name. Anyway, the dumbass, which she probably did more to help actually get real indictments on the cronies than the Cohen. Thank you. Yeah, Cohen. Than the Mueller investigation. And so when you have authentic voices that, one, don't have to spend 50-60% of their time campaigning for dollars, two, can actually go to these committee hearings and briefings and do their homework, three, show up prepared, four, not be silenced by their corporate donors and their advertisers telling them what they what's taboo, and six, she's been in there since January. Yeah. It's March. She's been in there since January. Tomorrow is April, and already she's the most prominent voice in the Democratic Party, to the point that Fox News is doing unending propaganda, and they're now getting chants at Trump rallies that AOC sucks from a young woman, 29-year-old woman who's been in office for less than 3 months, and she is now, because she's got she's got authenticity, she's got sincerity, and she's not bought and sold, and so you can figuratively stab them in the face. And I would argue it would be so much more powerful, and it would feel so much better to look at people like Bezos in the eye, as all the power and the entire empire that they built up turns into ashes in their mouths as we undermine the corporate socialist structure that we have, and we actually start giving a damn about the human condition. We start creating jobs guarantees and creating minimum wages and creating social structures that actually help and benefit people through MMT, through advances in technology.
Hold on, Josh.
That would be much more satisfying.
Hold on. Let me be. I've offered this out to AOC to be her sarcasm translator, and I haven't got anything back yet. So let me be your.
We're waiting, ma'am. Your
straight talking translator for what you just said. Okay. And if I'm wrong in any aspect, by all means, correct me. But basically what Josh is saying, you blue-collar fuckers that are like me, that are living paycheck to paycheck, basically what he's saying is that AOC is not bought. She is out there pointing out the bullshit tactics that the rich are using to continuously steal our government. Not only that, she's out there pointing out the simple fact that I got elected in because I recognize my base, and my base says, hey, you got a chance here. And in that chance, and I will say, as a blue-collar guy myself, I withheld, and we've had this conversation, I withheld my judgment on AOC during her entire campaign because I said, I want to see what the fuck she does if she gets it. And I want to see what she does with the power that she gets. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a blue-collar, paycheck-to-paycheck type of guy like everyone else that possibly is listening to this, AOC gives me a weird lady boner. Because she will go on there and point out the hypocrisy. And she will point out the hypocrisy between finance, and she will point out the hypocrisy and the big pharma condition, and she will point out all of this stuff. I love AOC. I love AOC as much as I love Bernie, as much as I love Tulsi. And the reason I say that is I'm 44. I've grown up my entire life being an American, whether I've lived in America or whether I lived in Canada. We have done 44 years of Republican bullshit trickle down or Democrat bullshit of corporate fucking welfare. Let us give us 4 years of socialism based and aimed towards us poor sons of bitches that are paying the bills, that are paying our taxes, that are building America, that are keeping our roads going, that are keeping the hospitals going. Give us 4 years under that crazy old man who brushes his hair with a fucking balloon. Just give us 4. If your life isn't better, then we can go back to Republican. We can go back to Democrat. But there's a reason they call it left wing and right wing, because it's still the same shit fucking bird. Give us 4 years. If your life isn't better in 4 years, if your kid's life isn't better in 4 years, vote in the next fucking Trump. Vote in the next fucking Hillary. But give us 4 fucking years. That's all I ask. Socialism in this country exists, but it only exists for the rich. Trump is treating America right now as a goddamn hotel with high rollers in Vegas. Why don't we treat all of us, all is the key word here. Bernie, Tulsi, AOC, their language, their position is all inclusive for healthcare, all inclusive for tax breaks, all inclusive for education, all inclusive for healthcare. All. Not Bezos, not Trump, not Kushner, not Bill Gates, because everyone seems to forget that Bill Gates had SEC violations on him when he started Microsoft.
Yep.
I'm not saying that we need to be a socialist country, but I'm saying that we, the people who pay these bills and weekly taxes or bi-weekly taxes off our paychecks, we're the ones getting fucked. not Bezos, not Trump, not Gates, not Netflix. All of these companies are posting billions upon billions upon billions of dollars profit and paying fuck all in taxes. Whether it's through corporate welfare or whether it's through the Panama fucking bullshit or whether it's offshore, fuck you. You don't pay taxes, you don't get a fucking say. So all the money they don't pay in taxes, they then turn around and pay lobbyists to then turn around and go to the government and say, oh, Mr. Ryan, or oh, Mr. McConnell, or oh, Mr. Trump, we're going to give you $300 million and you're going to give us this and you're going to give us that. Why do we have socialism for the rich and the capitalists and the corporate? They're not paying the goddamn bills. I'm paying the fucking bill. Chris is paying the fucking bill. Josh is paying the fucking bill. Fuck you. Give us socialism for once. Give us it just for 4 fucking years. That's all I'm asking.
Just 4.
My kid is a goddamn honor student. I can't afford to send him to college.
Hell yeah, he is.
He's a goddamn honor student. He's smart as fuck. He might be able to be the one to send us to the stars or to cure cancer or to do something astronomically great for mankind. But he's going to get fucked out of that opportunity because I wasn't some lucky goddamn sperm that came out of Trump's dick, that it came into some bitch's fucking uterus that he managed to fucking buy, whether it was Ivanka or Melania or whatever the fuck the other bit, you know what I mean? Whatever the women's names are that he's fucking impregnated. How is that fucking fair? My kid has the potential to change the goddamn world, just like Chris's does, just like Josh's does. But no, they don't get that goddamn opportunity because they're too busy goddamn flipping fucking hamburgers. But fucking Donald Trump Jr., that special ed motherfucking soft spot having bitch in his fucking 30s, is making fucking policy to ban Qatar or to put shit on the allies because he didn't get money from them. Fuck you, fuck your neck, and I'm gonna stab you in the fucking face with a piece of metal when the fucking apocalypse hits.
And so this is why we love Jessie, but this is also why we have to be careful about taking Jessie out in public after a few beers.
Oh my God. I've had 6.
So, Jessie, with all of that piss and vinegar flowing through you, is there anything else you'd like to say about Madelyn Murray O'Hair?
Madelyn Murray O'Hair. There's synchronicity involved in this. I'm going to say
connection, folks.
I'm going to say coincidence. I'm going to say synchronicity, and I may have gone over this already. If it is, just fast forward. Okay. Anyway, so this family storyline goes that she took her oldest son, who at the time was going to Baltimore schooling system, and he was forced into daily divination, or dovation, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm drunk.
Divination.
Anyway,
devotion.
He was forced devotion.
There we go.
So he was forced to pray, and they were not religious. She was anarchist, and yes, she did try to defect to Russia and all this other stuff, but she basically, the way it works down is that she was a woman in the 50s that had a loud goddamn mouth who didn't fucking care, and she's my goddamn spirit person. You know what I mean? I don't have a spirit animal. I'd have to say her and Klein are my spirit fucking envoys because it works perfectly. So she basically asked her son flat out, do you have a problem with doing this? But she'd raised her son as a nonconformist and an atheist and everything else from birth. But she grew up in an extremely religious household.
Yeah.
So basically she went through and she got prayer taken out of school. She became Time Magazine's quote unquote most hated woman in America. Okay? So let's fast forward. She's doing things, and she also attacked the abortion issue. She also attacked quite a bit of shit. And it's one of those things where you got to have these type of people in our society that question the law, question the morality, question the religion, question everything. Not to make you feel uncomfortable, to just get you to think.
Yeah.
But because it was in the 50s and 60s and everything else, her name never got attached to any of the Supreme Court judgments. That's why you don't know of her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So basically what happened was she, after the 60s or 70s kind of evolved, she was one of the first and most controversial guests on the Donahue show. Donahue loved her, even though Donahue's a Catholic. And again, not disparaging religion, just saying that you've got someone that is a hardcore Catholic saying, I love this person, I love how they think. He'd bring her on the show and bring in ministers and bring in this, and it turned into a very intellectual debate. But it was like me. It was one of those, you're fucking retarded, and let's talk about this. To the point where she ended up starting the Atheist Institute, which I will be donating here shortly too, so I can get the goddamn Adam sticker. I love the Adam sticker. I mean, basically what it proved was that you need to honor what our Constitution states, is that there needs to be a separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I bring this up is I'm on Fallout 76 right now, so if you guys want to come in and play, it's J Cheney 15. Come play with me or talk shit. I don't care. But I'm playing with a lot of people from around the country. I play with a couple of people that are from Kentucky. Now, Kentucky is obviously a red state, and it's obviously a Christian state.
Yep.
People that I play with happen to be lesbian.
You're too far from your mic.
Sorry.
Don't walk away.
Sorry. A lesbian couple that actually is living in Kentucky. The biggest problems they're having right now is the simple fact that the school district that her daughter is going to is basically stated that all school districts in Kentucky must comply and must put "In God We Trust" in a prominent position on a wall somewhere in that school. Well, what God? If you're going to be all-inclusive, that's great. But if you're not going to be all-inclusive, then you get nothing. Right? Isn't that what the Constitution states?
That is true.
Right, and that's the problem that I have. It's the simple fact that if you want religion. Have it all day long. But do not use your bullshit comic beliefs to fucking negate what I can and cannot do in my sex life. I can and cannot get in medical, because realistically, back in 76, they came up with stem cell research. 76.
Yeah, that's been a long fight, huh?
1 year old. One. Technology is 6 to 9 months. So if you take the entire span of my life and break it down to months, realistically, no one in this day and age should be dying of cancer, should be dying of leukemia, should be dying of AIDS. In fact, it wasn't that long ago, like 2 months or last month, Germany cured the second man. The second. Two.
Yeah, don't they do like a blood transfusion?
They did a stem cell transfusion that then turned around and cured him of AIDS.
Well, and they call that he's been free of AIDS for more than 2 months or something like that, right? Or 6 months, is it?
Not HIV, full blown.
Yeah, right.
With stem cells. HIV is you have that virus that can negatively affect your T cell count. AIDS is your T cells are fucking gone. You are fucked. The next cold you get, the next flu you get, you walk across someone that has chicken pox, you're fucking done.
Right, and so it's the end stage of having HIV. That's what I'm trying to say, man.
No, but you can survive with HIV under meds.
Correct.
You cannot survive under AIDS with meds. There are no AIDS for meds. None.
Meds for, yeah, right. But that's because the HIV has gotten to the point where there's nothing you can do. Like
right. The HIV has morphed into AIDS.
Metastasized cancer or something like that.
That's why they refer to it as full-blown AIDS. Same thing with cancer. He was full-blown AIDS, and it was in Germany. And what they did is they did a T-cell transplant. They took him to Germany. They pumped his body full of fucking T-cells from wherever they got him from, or stem cells wherever they got him from. And the stem cells then turned around and rebooted his immune system and fucking kicked the shit out of AIDS.
Whoa.
This is the problem that I have. You don't want vaccines? Great. Don't have vaccines. You don't want abortions? Great. Don't have abortions. You don't want stem cell research? Don't use the technology. Great. I get it. I respect your religious beliefs. But do not fucking band together and do not put money into banning the rest of us from fucking using it. That's my biggest problem. You want to be religious? Have the fuck at her. You want to think Jesus turned water into wine? Great. Have at her. But don't ban the rest of us from fucking using this shit. Because there are more atheists or non-religious people in the United States than there are religious. They just don't come out.
Well, so there's a meme that kind of wraps up the moral of this of kind of the point that you're making. It's effectively a religious person will do what they are told, no matter what is right.
Yeah.
Whereas a spiritual person will do what is right, no matter what they are told. And that basically, again, comes down to having an ability of how to think, not what to think. If you only know what to think, you get your marching orders and you go. You're a good little soldier. You do what your superiors tell you. But if you have the ability to be like, you know what, this smells like an illegal order. I'm not sure if I should go forward with this. That's good. Skepticism can save your life and your neighbors.
Yep.
So can I point out something so everyone knows? Josh lives in Utah. Okay? If you want to go the religious aspect, I'm going to throw out religious fucking fact. Religious fact states that the Mormons did not choose Utah first, second, third, or fourth.
Missouri.
Exactly. Every other fucking state before Utah, they were fucking killed in mass. They were treated like Indians.
Well,
they were treated like fucking terrorists, whatever word you want to use. Minnesota.
And I would like to point out that when they were getting killed, they fled to Mexico. They fled to Mexico to seek asylum, and they were able to seek asylum in Mexico.
And that makes
them
not
which Mexico
American.
did they flee to, Josh?
Yeah, I know, right? Which Mexican country was it?
Yeah, there are three of them. I hear.
So that technically means that Romney, fuck Romney 2012, 15, 16, 18, 20, 26, 30, 35, because a lot of people you need to fucking realize he was born in Mexico. That makes him a Mexican. Sorry.
Hey, so a quick aside.
Yes.
I did a phone interview with the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. Have you ever heard of them?
I saw that interview, and you know what, dude? Damn, that was a good
that's a different interview.
No,
I did an interview over the phone. Yeah. No, so not that one. So I did an interview over the phone, and what it is this is an organization. They're kind of touted as the Elizabeth Warren, wing of Democrats. And so, while I'm far left of Elizabeth Warren, this is an organization that puts on basically a how-to training for progressives on how do you do what you need to do, how do you get all the pieces in play in order to win an election. And the training is free, but you have to get yourself there. And they basically have only had them in one location, and you'd have to go to one central location, and now they're taking it across the states. And so there's one that's coming up in Nevada. I don't know if I'll get accepted, but I applied for it. I'm considering running for a prominent position here in Utah. I want to find out more kind of what I'm up against and see what my chances are. What is that sound?
I have no idea. So can I ask a question? I need to ask an honest question here. Okay.
What's that?
And maybe it's just me. Maybe not. I mean, it's just an average question. With all, as much as I know you, Josh, as much as I know where you stand, as much as I know politically where you are, how much money could I give you to turn around and say the NRA is great and the Republicans rock? How much money would that take?
So to put that in the context, let's just say that I did get into Congress. I did have my little office.
Mm-hmm.
On my office, like, it's cool that people fly transgender, awareness or transgender pride flags, and I might likely be one of them. But probably on day one, what I would do is put a sign on my door that says "Lobbyist Defenestration Zone."
So would you?
Are you familiar with the word defenestration?
Yeah.
What it is to be defenestrated?
Right. Would you
Be thrown the fuck out a window.
Right. Would you basically tell lobbyists to go fuck themselves, or would you listen? And I'm not saying it's nothing negative. The biggest problem that I see with politics is that it mixes three things, and those three things are not conducive to each other. You've got the political idea, which can be changed. If you cannot change your political view after being based on fact or someone talking to you or someone showing you something different, you're no different than a right-wing Christian. They can't change their thinking. The other portion that it lies on,
Sure.
The simple fact is that you realize that you're doing a job and you want to do good at your job. And the way to do good at your job is you get feedback from your job. But the other thing that bothers me is the simple fact that people will throw money at you to change your point of view. And I'm not saying that's bad.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying, it's bad when I work for a goddamn carpet fucking factory. If they came in and said, "Hey, what do you think of carpet?" You're like, "Well, it's not bad. It's soft on my feet." But what if you had a dog or a cat? Well, goddamn, my dog pissed on my carpet 37 times in the last year, and fuck, I'm tired of cleaning it. But now I'm getting money from the vinyl floor industry that says that I'm going to go in front of the American people and talk about the advantages of having a hardwood vinyl floor over having a piss-absorbent carpet. Now, the carpet factory is paying me $12 an hour, but the goddamn hard floor factory people want to pay me $50 an hour. Where the fuck am I going to go?
Right. So there's actually been reports that have come out that said that some of the most well-trained staff for our Congress people and our senators specifically work on internships, so they don't get paid. And so one that basically blocks anyone who actually needs a paycheck in order to survive. So it's only coming from, effectively people with silver spoons, born with silver spoons in their mouths. And two, it makes it so it's nearly impossible for them not to get siphoned over to K Street. But another point that I wanted to make, as far as your question about, saying, how much could you pay me to say the NRA is great, and Republicans rock? Well, really, you could pay me nothing, because ultimately, the NRA that teaches hunter safety fucking rocks. Like the local NRA that teaches hunter safety, that teaches people how to weapon awareness. Always keep your safety on. Don't leave a fucking loaded weapon in your coat closet. Don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And then Republican voters, many of these are truck drivers that actually supply our fucking grocery stores. Yeah, they fucking rock. You're fucking right, they rock. And so, Republicans do rock. Exactly. They're good, decent people. Now, the Republicans in office are pieces of fucking shit, the same way that most Democrats in office are pieces of fucking shit. And so, I can say that without being paid, but if you wanted me to say Mitch McConnell is cool, I don't think there's enough money I don't think there's enough money around, dude. Like, the amount of bile that would rise in my throat would burn my voice box, and I start coughing and hacking.
Yeah,
the fucking demon rooster.
Exactly, and you know, honestly, I think that has a lot to do with the simple fact that you hit it. You hit it on the fucking head of the. I mean, you hit it. We all right now. If I won the lottery, it's life changing.
Hopefully for the other two as well.
Right. No. Me, you,
mail me a check.
Whoever. We hit the lottery, it's life-changing. We didn't grow up with that silver spoon in the mouth. We didn't grow up with that legacy bullshit. The other thing that I wanted to kind of fucking talk about was this whole fucking college scandal. Why is it that we're only seeing 2 names when there's 33 other names involved in the suit, but we don't see those names? We see
because they want you to focus on the actresses and not the equity, the hedge fund manager who got caught.
Right.
The same hedge fund manager who said that we don't need to be regulated because we can regulate it ourselves. Yeah. That same guy who was caught in a fraudulent scandal.
Oh, you mean the same people that are in charge of the economy?
Oh my God.
That are now saying, hey, we're seeing warning signs that in 2020, 2021, we're seeing the same thing that we saw from 2008 that's going to cause a crash. Oh, would these be the same people that are going to stand to fucking make $17 billion? Would these be the same individuals who are AIG or is going to take we'll take a $3,000 or a $3 billion bailout, but no, we don't want to pay it back. Okay, you're going to give $7 billion now. Okay, as long as we don't got to pay it back or tell you what we're doing with the money, we're fine with taking that money. That's what happened. No one remembers that. Fucking people need to realize that history keeps repeating. Wake the fuck up. Fuck your religious beliefs, fuck your political beliefs, and have that fucking mentality of, if it's socialism, it's for all. Take it. Take that fucking risk and vote for a Bernie or vote for a Tulsi or vote for someone that uses terminology of all. And if they get into office and then it turns into, well, what I meant by all was just the Koch brothers or just Pepsi or just Nestle, you then turn around and say, you're fucking done. We're going to vote you out the next 2 years.
But ultimately, to quote a man that we all hate, what the hell do you have to lose?
Exactly.
Right? Just fucking do it. That's all.
Just do it. Give me 4 years of socialism. 4. That's all I'm asking for. 4. If it fucking goes south and it goes sideways and we're all selling oranges by the fucking highway, we can pull our money and make sure we can all pay our bills. That's still socialism.
I can sign Trump's autograph on them too, and that might, we'll say they're good oranges, bad man,
Well,
exactly.
And not so not only what do you have to lose, but so I had a conversation when I was at work. I was processing some blood at a lab, and I was talking to the lab manager, and I love this guy to death, and I'm not really sure that I fully know his political allegiance, if you will, persuasion. But he came up to me and he kind of folded his arms and he was like, Josh, I really like my healthcare. Why should I pay for everyone else's? To which I said, you already do.
Yeah.
And he looked at me kind of funny and I said, well, for people who don't have healthcare, who can't afford it, they go to the ER. When they go to the ER and they can't pay their bills, well, then you get hit with a hidden tax, which is why your premiums increase and why your deductible increase.
Oh, I got a question.
And then he kind of looked at me quizzically. I said, so for you to actually pay for everyone else's and to have some sort of universal health care, Medicare for all, what have you, is actually going to give you better results. Yep. It's going to cost you less. And ultimately it's a win-win. And then he said, well, you know what? I don't like the idea of the government being in charge of so much because the government has no competition. To which I said, well, neither does private industry right now. You've got people like Facebook, Amazon, whatever. They're trying to, they're monopolizing and they're actually, pushing out the little guy so that they don't have any sort of competition. They create rules and
regulations that benefit them, that hurt all small businesses. So what you're afraid of right now about the government is literally what we're living in. That's literally what we're living in. And the thing is that if we actually have people that are willing to overturn the apple cart and willing to join in the politics, right? Because if we do give government control, yeah, that's fucking scary. Sure it is. But that's why we need people, again, who are not bought, people who have, authenticity to join in the conversation to help shape it, right? You don't just give ultimate power to one person and say, okay, and then you walk away, and then you hope that, that they're going to be a good Highlander instead of a bad Highlander going to murder everyone so they can get their quickening and get stronger.
You might as well have a king at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well have a king. And the point is, and so this is the point that Kyle Kalinske likes to drive home, is like, look, no matter what you do, the answer is more involvement. That's just what it is. The answer is be more involved. So no matter what, just be involved.
You guys have no fucking clue how close I am to doing this plan. None. Okay, right now we've got, so people know and people fucking understand this point. Okay, it would kill a little bit of me to do this, but to make that goddamn point, I'm tempted to just fucking start doing it. I'm 44. I could have gone to college, but I didn't have the cash. Okay, I didn't have the loans. I didn't have the family. I didn't have whatever the fuck you want to put. Okay, now here's my question for you. Okay, I'm quasi-intelligent. I'm pretty goddamn sure I can become an EMT. Not that fucking hard. It might take a little bit of fucking extra cash and borrowing money and whatever. As an EMT, that is a person who is going to show up when you are having the worst possible day of your fucking life, regardless of what it is. You are a human. You are having the worst possible day of your life, whether it's a traffic accident, a mass shooting, I slipped and fell down the stairs, heart attack, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, you are having the worst possible day of your personal existence. How would you feel if me as an atheist walked up and saw, oh, he's wearing a cross and a 4-car pileup? And I turn around and say, Citizens United states that as a corporation, they have religious beliefs and they have religious values. And me as an atheist, hey, yes, you're in a car accident. Yes, your legs have been severed. Yes, you're about to fucking bleed out. But you know what? Pray real fucking hard to Jesus, and I fucking leave the site and go to work on someone else. How long until I'm crucified?
If that story got out, immediately.
But what's the difference? If Chick-fil-A doesn't want to pay for health insurance for gay or lesbian, and Chick-fil-A doesn't want to pay for health or birth control, why the fuck can I not sit here and say, you believe in a magical fucking guy who walked on water, turned water into wine, pray real fucking hard, and he might keep you from bleeding out in the 4-car pileup you were just in? Where is my religious freedom?
Well, your religion should not have any part in your carrying out the functions of your job, and your job is also different from that of the CEO of a chicken shack. Because the chicken shack isn't trying to keep people from dying, and you take a Hippocratic oath.
Don't matter.
EMT.
Citizens United states that as a corporation, you are allowed your religious beliefs, and I think that people that believe in Christianity pray real fucking hard. Pray real hard that your child doesn't die of fucking measles. Pray real fucking hard that your child doesn't die of the flu. Because you're standing up and saying that vaccinations are bad. Or you're standing up and saying abortions are bad. Or you're standing up and pissing me off on a religious level of, I don't believe the bullshit that you do. If I don't believe the bullshit that you do, and I walk up and I'm an EMT and I can save your life, but you're wearing a cross, why can I not say, pray real fucking hard? Because thoughts and prayers does so much in this country.
Well, there is one thing about that I do agree with that comes from at least the second book of the Christians, and it's that do unto others.
They do unto others as it benefits them. Right? So you
and so I think that you're both right in that so that do unto others as you would have done unto you, like right. It's something that we're taught at a young age, and I think it's really good for children to wrap their minds around. But when you're an adult, you realize, like, well, you know what, Chris, I kind of like talking like an asshole, and you don't really like to be talked to like an asshole.
Exactly. Go for it.
And so probably I shouldn't treat you like I like to be treated. I should probably take the time to figure out how you like to be treated, and then treat you the way that you like to be treated, as opposed to treat you the way that I like to be treated.
But you're under the assumption.
So there's some certain wisdom, sure.
But you're under the assumption that you have to comply. And they have taught you throughout your entire life you don't need to comply.
Jesse, you have someone's fucking life in your hands, and you're gonna ask them questions about their religious beliefs.
You mean the same people that will let a homeless man die of frostbite because he doesn't have insurance? Where's the goddamn fucking comparison?
I think there is no comparison. You're a one-on-one about to kill a person by action.
I'm saying that your religious
belief... Negligence.
No, it's not negligence. No, it's not. Because every day in this country, we let vets, we let homeless, and we let the underinsured die every goddamn day because they don't financially have what the government says that they should have or what a hospital says they should have. There are tons of people that are dying.
So I agree with your passion.
So what's the problem?
I agree with your passion, Jesse, and I kind of like where you're going, but the way that I see you saying, well, you know, peace be with you, or thoughts and prayers, and you pray real hard and you'll live. To me, that's akin to Ben Shapiro coming to speak at the university, and the people that don't like him demand that he can't speak. Instead of offering up a better argument, they demand that he can't speak. Well, if thoughts and prayers are going to be, well, hold on, let me finish my point. If thoughts and prayers are how you're going to live your life, and if you think thoughts and prayers are how we're going to stop school shootings, then you know what, thoughts and prayers, and then they bleed out. But if you do save their life and you have the ability to touch their life and say, well, look, I'm actually an atheist, and to have them and have their self-awareness, and their entire world shocked and vaulted from that placency that only Christians can be in. I think the idea of a better argument is much stronger, and ultimately, like, again, I think more involvement, you know, as I just said, more involvement, and a better argument is always going to be the best answer. And yeah, it's fun to say, well, you know what, I should just say fuck you and thoughts and prayers, motherfucker. And that's fun, that makes me laugh. But in real life, like, I don't, like, you know, ultimately I'm going to see you for a human, and that's what differentiates me from sociopaths like, you know, Lex Luthor, I mean, Jeff Bezos.
Right, but here's my point. I'm going to give you two counterpoints. Are you ready for this? Two counterpoints. Why is it psychopathic for me to have that attitude when they have that attitude on abortion, or they have that attitude on healthcare, or they have that attitude on the poor, or immigrants, or this?
Because you're following a psychopath. Because you're admitting that you're psychopathic, and then you're following.
That's fine. Why is it they get to play the psychopath?
But just because their psychopathy...
Because you're not the bad guy.
But just because their psychopathy is legal doesn't mean that you following suit is somehow psychopathic.
No, as human beings, we are taught more by pain than common goddamn sense. You can tell a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old human being, don't do that, it's gonna hurt, and they'll fucking still do it. You can tell a goddamn 50-year-old person, don't touch that it's wet paint, and they'll still touch it. But you tell them that some fucking asshole in the sky doesn't want them to masturbate, or doesn't want a lesbian couple to marry, and they're all up in fucking arms. That's my.
But they'll still do it though.
Exactly.
But if you say that if you still say that Yeah, if there's a man who's spying on you from the clouds who says that you shouldn't masturbate, the only thing they're going to change about their lives is not that they're not going to masturbate, it's that they're going to masturbate, they're going to feel supremely guilty about it, and they're going to project that onto everyone else. So they're actually, it's actually not going to stop.
So your argument is that it's okay to continually to accept
I thought you were going to say masturbate.
No, masturbate. We all jerk off. I'm married. I've been married for 18 years. I still rub at least 3 out a week.
Good
what
man.
What are you talking about? Chris, you're in a goddamn relationship, and I'm sure there's more than enough sex, but I'm sure you're still on Pornhub looking up fucking Team Gagathon 9000.
I prefer to use my imagination, good sir, but okay.
Yeah, whatever, but you're still doing it.
I'm a Luddite.
Why is it okay for them to turn around and say, we don't want gays or lesbians to marry, but it's not okay me as an AMT? Who gives
it's not, but the thing is but here's the thing, Jesse, is that in a 1-to-1 argument, you may be right that it's effectively the same thing for you to allow them to die and say thoughts and prayers, but the thing is it causes a worse effect, especially for atheists.
And for yourself.
And so, are you trying to be counterproductive? Like, are you just trying to be prideful and then say, well, as long as I get mine, or are you actually trying to prove a point? No, and if you're making things worse off for your fellow person, so you're gonna make something worse off for this person who dies, and you're gonna make things worse off because every Fox News channel can say this is how atheists are. You're gonna make things much worse for atheists. But ultimately, you're making it counterproductive, and you're hurting your cause more than you're helping it. And so these are things that rational people who use a monkey brain, not just a lizard brain, should take the time to unpack and think about.
And you know what? Mass shooters don't think through all those things, and that's why they make everything worse whenever they take that or take in it.
Stop. You use the term monkey brain. Religion is tied to the lizard brain. If they can sit there and have no problem with denying a woman an abortion, or denying a gay couple marriage, or denying this, or that doesn't fit our religious beliefs, we're not going to allow it. They group in large mass and stop it. Right? That's perfectly acceptable. That's perfectly okay. But when the atheists then they turn around and say, okay, well, that's fine. You guys do you. We're going to do us. And we're going to then turn around and say that front line, because it is a more of an impactful statement, we're going to turn around and say, oh, you've been in a car accident. Oh, but I see a cross. Pray real fucking hard and let's see if Jesus fucking...
Okay, Jesse, I have a compromise for you and a way for your argument to actually make sense in the scenario you're creating, because I think Josh and I see your direct non-involvement causing a death is
not my problem.
Is different from causing future deaths or whatever. But hold on. Instead of you being an atheist who is a paramedic that works for a hospital, why not be a person who creates the Atheist Paramedics Company? And it's a company that is made for atheists by atheists to only save atheists in car wrecks. So whenever you roll up on a car wreck, they'll say, oh my God, you're here to save me. And you say, you got a cross around your neck, buddy? They say, yeah, I sure do. You'd be like, sorry, you're not our clientele. And you can walk off and you will be justified.
But here's my point, is the problem is it goes back to socialism, and it goes back to political, it goes back to everything else. They can turn around and shit on an entire portion of the population and everyone's okay with it. But when I do it, it's a fucking problem.
I love the thought experiment, Chris, and the way that you went with that is perfect.
I agree with you too.
But ultimately, Jesse, the only reason why it's okay for these people to do this, the only reason why it's okay for these religious institutions to do this is because of the people who are in office, which is why, again, the best thing to do is to be more involved and to get more humans involved and more people who don't believe in these fairy tales involved. Okay. Because the only reason why they are allowed to do it is because people who are involved believe in the fairy tales, because these fairy tales put money in their pocket. Pays them that paper money.
And I me personally, as the blue collar, we would all agree with that in the podcast I'm more the blue collar kind of guy of living paycheck to paycheck, the average man, correct?
I would say so.
Okay. Yeah, we see that Trump gets away with this bullshit. Hillary gets away with her bullshit. All these people get away with their bullshit politically. What the fuck incentive do I have to participate any fucking more? It don't matter. I live in Georgia. Georgia has proven time and time again between gerrymandering and flat out illegal goddamn activity with fucking voter registration that they fucked the results. And tell me why I, as a Georgian, shouldn't take up arms and just say, you know what? Fuck you. We're living in a society right now where I get pamphlets for the Religious Freedom Sect that says you can't have medical marijuana because it'll create crime. We've proven historically, time and time again, that the black market is created by prohibition, right? I've got people that live, fellow Georgians that are in jail for minor drug possessions that are being treated like slave goddamn labor, who don't stand up and say nothing because that's not good fucking Christianism. Right? I live across the street from what I like to call a mental institution because it's a goddamn church. And 2 times a week, I watch people fill that parking lot to listen to bullshit. 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 Scientifically, I can prove that he doesn't exist. Scientifically, I can prove that all the shit that you've been taught through that goddamn fucking book you're reading is bullshit.
So
but no, I do that.
You can't prove a negative.
Yes, I can.
You can't prove a negative.
Can.
Technically, no, you can't. It's physically impossible. It's impossible to prove a negative, and so you can't prove that God is not real.
Yes.
Which is why the idea is so powerful.
No, ask me how I can. Just say, how can you? Say it. Do it. Do it. I dare you.
I can't bring myself to because I've already put my flag in the ground. So, Chris, can you ask?
Do it, Chris. Do it. Do it.
All right. How can you prove that negative?
Because if they are hardcore Christian and good Republicans, they will believe everything that Trump says. And I can prove that statistically that Jesus Christ was not American. He was goddamn Arabic. And these motherfucker wouldn't be able to get back in the country in the second coming if he fucking tried. Because he would stop at the airport and be like, well, I don't know. You look kind of ISIS to me.
He's got a lot of fish in his pocket, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I got. Like I said, don't talk about religion. Be religious. If that is what you need to get through the day. But I am a goddamn adult. I am an atheist, and I am okay with the motherfucking fact that I am a goddamn advanced simian monkey motherfucker who my ancestors ate a fuck ton of goddamn mushrooms to get to where I am today. And I understand that I am floating through a rock in outer space that at any fucking time, another rock can come and hit and fucking wipe everything out. I'm okay with that.
That is going to be the most fun thing to find a string of pictures to put up for this. I
get it. I could be wiped out tomorrow by an asteroid that NASA couldn't see because we don't have funding. Because you know why? Because Kentucky needed more money for their school system to talk about Jesus Christ. I get that. I
think it's more because they needed it for their Jesus museum.
Exactly. And I get that. That's fine. That's great. That's super. But you know what? Motherfucker, Jesus ain't coming back. You know why? Because they nailed him to a cross and not a goddamn boomerang.
He comes back every time you drop his name out of your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Unless I'm in fucking jail or rehab, you never find Jesus. You never find him in a socially minded ideal of a fucking society. No, you find them in rehab. You find them in prison. You find them here. You find them where you're at your worst possible fucking thing. And it goes back. Let's connect this all back.
Speaking of finding
Madelyn
Jesus,
Murray. No.
you know who couldn't
Madelyn
find
Murray.
Jesus?
No.
Madelyn
Stop.
Murray.
No. The reason is because the very son she used in the lawsuit to get prayer out of school.
Yep.
This little son of a bitch, this piece of fucking shit became a hardcore alcoholic. Right? He lost his wife. He lost his child to him being an alcoholic. So what does he go through? He goes through Alcoholics Anonymous. He goes through the 12 steps. And what does he find? And this motherfucker became the very fucking person who sends me a postcard in the mail to vote against medical marijuana for people that are suffering, because he became the president of the Religious Freedoms fucking Coalition.
No way.
Yes. He left his mother, became a Christian, and became the leader of one of the largest religious organizations that lobbies the United States government for religious freedoms. Meaning, you can't sell drugs.
Up, dude.
That's synchronicity for you. That's coincidence for you. And this motherfucker refused. So people know. I'm going to ruin the Netflix movie for you, and I apologize, but you need to know this. He refused to report his mother missing in Austin, Texas in 1993. They did not find his mother, his brother, and his own goddamn daughter until 1998. Ask me what happened.
Jessie, what happened?
They were killed by a fellow atheist who used to work for our organization, who was charged with embezzlement of $54,000, who knew that she had money hidden overseas in New Zealand, like every other goddamn religious fucking organization on the planet. He refused to report her missing. And this was 3 days after her atheist staff went to her house to try to figure out where the fuck her son and her granddaughter were, because they were extremely involved in the atheist movement. Okay? And you're thinking to yourself, well, Jessie, come on, Jessie. People disappear all the time. And she did disappear in the past as a ploy to get more donations.
Yeah, she kidnapped herself or something.
Yeah, kind of a thing. But what she never left behind was her dogs, which were two wiener dogs.
Yeah.
Right? And their passports. So how do you leave the country of the United States with no passport? Tell me.
Smuggle yourself.
You can't. You cannot leave the United States for any other country. Right. So
Mexico, maybe, right? I mean,
no.
I mean, there's definitely areas where it's more lax. If you're an American, he's an American.
Especially in the 50s and the 60s and 70s and the 80s.
We're talking the 90s. This happened in 1993. She went missing in 1993.
They had fencing up by then. Yeah.
And they did not find her body along with her son and her granddaughter in some goddamn bushwhack fucking middle of fucking nowhere shithole Texas fucking town until 1998.
Did they have their hands cut off too?
They had their hands cut off, they had their heads cut off, and they were dismembered.
Like they got messed by a drug cartel or something, right?
No, it was a guy that she hired on before that had an idea of what they had.
Oh, right. But it's as if they had been messed up by a Mexican drug cartel, in my mind anyway, for a movie or something.
Correct. And her own fucking son, who is the leader of the Religious Freedom Coalition.
Refused.
Religious.
You think he was in on it?
No, I actually, you know what?
He probably got a payoff of some cougar ants, dude. Think about it.
No, because the gold that they traded for the money that she had got stolen by a bunch of fucking retards that just happened to break into the storage unit. Yeah. So the thing that gets me is, like I said, again, I'm not against religious people. I'm not. But if you're going to have religion in school, you have religion for everyone. You have it for the Jewish kids. You have the Muslim kids. You have it for
how long the devotion
kids. No, it's not a matter of how long. It turns into one of those, who's Christian, raise your hand. Who's not, raise your hand. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're all going to pray to just a generalized God. And so forth.
Everybody pray to the chalkboard and eraser.
Yeah, exactly.
It giveth and it taketh away. Check out the homework.
And again, I push it. A friend of mine who I play with, who I love, who is extremely progressive. She happens to be a lesbian woman who's married to another woman in Kentucky. Her daughter has to go every day in school and look at "In God We Trust" on a prominent wall in her goddamn school. I'm pretty goddamn sure in the fucking Constitution it separates church and state.
But that is on our money.
I don't give a fuck. It wasn't on our money until 1958.
But it is on our money.
Now. I don't give a fuck. What you got now? It wasn't on our money in the beginning, was it? No, it was added in 1958.
Yeah, but like that's like. So, again, if you want that changed, like arguing about it on the podcast is not going to change it. It's definitely going to bring awareness, but the way that you do it is you run for office or help somebody run for office and you bring it up then. And then you do it in front of cameras. Like, hey, did you know that this shit only changed in 1958 and that America was actually founded under secular oligarchy? Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah. Look it up. A bunch of rich guys that felt that they were rich and that the king shouldn't be able to tell a bunch of other rich guys what to do, so they decided they wanted to form their own country because they were all butthurt. And so they just decided to come over here and form their own country. And
Josh,
don't even get me started on the real what liberalism means in mercantile sense.
Stop. Here's the problem. Yeah. I am human enough to realize that if I run for fucking power and I get fucking power, it is going to be a completely different goddamn country. If I get the fuck with the Constitution, super the motherfucking duper, I am going to make it to where everything.
But you don't. You do with a bunch of other kids with crayons, right?
No.
But.
No. Why? No one else does. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what everyone else says. It's going to be the people that have money. That's great. I'm going to get into power. I'm going to become the president, and we're all going to do bottle caps. Fuck your dollar. Guess what, Bezos? You got no goddamn money. Guess what, Russia? You got no goddamn money. I'm sitting there telling you we're running on bottle caps, and we're running on Nuka-Cola. I got all the Nuka-Cola. No one else does. So that makes me the fucking hero. That makes me the king. That makes me the person in power. And that scares me. Because you know what? If I'm the one in control and I'm the one in power, I know I'm going to be shitting on other people. I know I'm going to be pissing on the Christians. And I got nothing against them. Catholics, I got nothing against them.
Would you Muslims, like a U.S.-backed job in Venezuela?
No, because the problem that bothers me, and this is the other one, you brought up, what is her name, Iliam or whatever?
Yeah.
She does realize.
Yeah.
Wait, stop. Now, I'm not being, you guys, by all means, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. But her own religion teaches her that as a woman, she should shut her mouth, correct?
Not necessarily. There are different interpretations.
Well, let's go with
right. Just like there's mainstream Christianity, there's orthodoxy, there's Quaker even. I mean, so there's definitely different flavors.
Kathy Lee Gifford.
And so, I mean,
the problem that I have is that.
Well, dude, look at Tammy Faye Baker. Tammy Faye Baker went through an entire fucking.
This is the problem that I have. Is if you declare yourself as a religion person first and foremost, get the fuck out of politics. Fuck you. Because you're not going to find a majority that believe what you believe. And I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying you're not going to find that majority. And our country is set up majority. Correct?
It's kind of run that way, but that's pretty much incorrect.
Okay, but at the same time, you live in a religion that says that women are less, that women should not be seen. You wear a burqa. You look like a negative ghost. You're not allowed to have a voice. You can't drive. You can't own property. You can't have nothing. You are fucking no less than a suitcase. Right?
I think that's the belief of a lot of the old school hardcore dudes that are running ISIS.
Doesn't matter. It's the hard.
That's not where most. Nah, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff in the Old Testament Bible that states we ought to be stoning.
And there is no difference between the Quran and the Old Testament. None, because Christianity has taught us that women are possessions to Adam. And wait, stop. Question. You telling me you've got an all-powerful being. He builds the entire universe, all the animals, all the elements, everything in 6 days. And on the 7th day, he rested. But to make a woman, he's got to take a rib from Adam. Really? Really? He's got to take a rib from a creation, from an all-powerful being.
Well, he wanted to show Adam the importance of anesthesia eons later, because he did it while Adam was sleeping.
Right.
And so he wanted to be like, look, bro, in a few eons, you guys are going to have surgery, and I want you to understand that there's the aseptic technique. So, I put a sterile drape over you. I did the adorned sterile gloves. I mean, it's all bullshit, man.
So I'm gonna swing you can't see me, but I'm gonna get my hair all crazy, right? All fucking standing up, and I'm gonna put my hands out in front of me and say, aliens. Right?
Oh, nice. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I like that.
Dude, that guy on the History Channel.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're talking about, but I know the answer is aliens. Yeah, for sure.
But
then that kind of comes back to Chris, though. Chris mentioned that he's not necessarily against the idea, or possibly even for the idea that we may have been seeded here by another intelligent species.
You never know. I mean, especially if it happened while we were sleeping.
So, Chris, I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you homework.
Okay.
I want you to study the Stone Ape theory. And the next time we talk, we're going to have a conversation, either online or recorded or not. We're going to have a conversation about Stone Ape.
Stone Ape theory?
Yes.
Okay.
And if after you do your due diligence of research for the Stoned Ape, you still think it's aliens, we will have a nice long conversation, and we'll record it. And
here's a tiny spoiler alert. I think it's both.
I don't think it's both. I think honestly,
we are a hybrid result of the two things occurring.
Okay, here's my question. When it comes to aliens, here's my question.
Okay.
Where are they now?
Everywhere.
Where?
Everywhere.
You say everywhere in a nonchalant way, but show me. Where?
Well, I can't.
I mean,
Georgia right now.
Is it really? So let's assume for a second.
I can show you statistics since
let's assume for a second that there is this hyper
sightings have gone down by 99%.
Hold on.
But if there's this hyper intelligent race, if there's this hyper intelligent race that seeds us, they're so hyper intelligent, they're so advanced, they can seed this relatively advanced, bipedal, a humanoid on Earth. Is it really beyond belief that they could have some sort of cloaking technology that cloaks them from our radar, cloaks them from our technology.
Question.
Okay,
and just makes it look like maybe they're part of just dark matter.
That's fine. Question.
Hold on, Jesse. I have an answer for that as well.
Go ahead.
Suppose a race was able to achieve getting across galaxies and decided they needed to seed planets with robotics that dropped off the precursor to our advanced style of life. And the reason why was because that their star was about to die. And when I say they're everywhere, that means that they're dust. They're gone.
Great.
Like, aliens are gone because we're the next group. And if there are others out there, they're probably in galaxies too far away to ever actually reach us.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that I believe that aliens are abducting people or that they show up in your bedroom when you're half asleep because you got sleep paralysis. That's a load of fucking bullshit, and that's based on the zeitgeist, because back in the day before we had aliens, they all thought that ghosts were visiting them and telling them to write books like, the Old and New fucking Testament.
Yeah.
So think about it, right? If you really dive deep into that Bible, you'll find that a lot of these guys were on shit, or they were having visions. But either way, they were interpreting life around them. So I don't know. When I say we're a seed, it's like we're the remnants of a different race that had to try to go on.
So here's my question. Are you ready for my question?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to apply critical thinking to your theory. Are you ready?
Go.
Okay. So you have a civilization that is able to populate the cosmos with their technology or their seed or whatever have you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
but
amoeba,
at the same,
probably something like that.
Great, super duper, awesome. I'm on.
Super duper.
I'm on board. Yeah. I'm on board with you. I get it. So they can pass on genetic code to cause an ape to go from a masturbating monkey into a monkey that can use tools, and then a monkey that can critically think, and that evolves from that point. Correct?
Not masturbating.
No. What I'm saying, Cheney, is a little bit deeper than that. What they provide is the moment that life spawned in the seas, and then nothing more. All that turned into the ape, and then your magic mushrooms turned the ape into something that was far more questioning itself in reality.
That's fine, but you're saying there is a alien technology that was able to affect technology-wise planets away from them, right?
Well, to reach them, yeah. I think that the way that we're going to be able to expand humanity is through robots.
That's fine. Yeah. But you're telling me these same technologies couldn't drop a goddamn note that says, oh, hey, by the way, we live on Alpha Centauri.
Oh, I think they lost that.
Who?
Just like we're losing you.
Wait, who? Who lost it?
Well, I don't know. There's tons of different moments in history where they burned down entire libraries of irretrievable books that were written by people who were keeping stories. Yeah. And I mean, think about the lost city of Atlantis. I don't believe that there were advanced groups, but there could have been another island or something that had more information that just disappeared.
Okay, but there is no evidence whatsoever.
Shit. A guy named Moses said he got 10 commandments from a lightning bolt, right?
Yeah, no, that's what they say.
I know. They were talking about the aliens, but they got it wrong. I don't know.
I was Jesus.
So, hey, real quick, Jesse.
And I walked on fucking water 6 months out of the goddamn year.
If you guys want to know where the God of the Old Testament comes from, I encourage you to watch the Joe Rogan Experience number 1124 with Robert Scotch. He's it's like this archaeologist, anthropologist, and it's fascinating. I don't want to do any spoilers for you, but basically they recreated the results in the lab and came up with the same thing that looks just like a person based upon solar activity. And think if just all of a sudden solar activity happened, which happens all the time, and all of a sudden what looks like a person's in the clouds, and they're raining hell and lightning bolts to the point where the lightning bolts don't kill you, the radiation will. The only way that you can live is by running into a cave. You lose everything, all modern technology, and kind of have to start again. And then you just have like this these tales that are given by from father to son, mother to daughter. But I by watching this, I'm convinced this is where this is where the God of the Old Testament comes from. So there's a lot of really weird cockamamie ideas that we come up with based upon phenomenon that we just simply don't understand because God of the gaps.
Okay, so here's my question. Do we all agree that history is a line? Do we all agree with that?
A line? What do you mean?
Yes.
So, like, time is linear? Is that what you're saying?
Time as we, as humans, and we have recorded it is linear.
As we understand it, it's linear, but I don't think it really is. No.
So here's my question for you, right? I'm not the first. I'm not the second. I'm the 798th trillion, 228th billion, 978th fucking quadrillion, whatever the fuck you want to say. I am not the first human.
You want to
am not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. The New Testament, the Christian Bible that you push, if I can show you chronologically
I push?
that it is not the first ending, the first time this religion has come around, would you buy it?
Would I buy your story that this isn't the first time Christianity's come around?
Correct. And I'm talking about the core of Christianity.
I understand. Yeah, no, I totally I agree with you. Yeah, we can talk about Horus, for example. Right?
No. I'm talking about older than Horus.
Who's older than Horus?
There is a religion that is classified as what they call mithril, and it follows the exact same terminology, the exact same name, not names, but the exact same circumstances that is modern Christianity.
Yeah, right.
And it is 3,500 years older than Christianity. And it has been proven in their own scrolls that this religion was put in place to control the masses.
I agree with that 100%.
On reality.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I mean, you get no argument from me, buddy.
No. I'm just
exactly
asking
what that shit is.
For fuck's sakes, Josh, you live in a state that the only reason that realistically that state exists of Utah is the simple fact that you've got a bunch of people that weren't allowed in any other state that turned around and went to this place that no one wanted to fucking live because it's all salt lakes and shit. They created a state called correct? Am I wrong? You have no agriculture. You have no resources. You are a salt lick in the middle of nowhere where they didn't give a fuck if you fucked 7 12-year-olds and your cousin. They didn't give a shit. Correct?
Wow.
I mean, so there's a lot of valuable soil here because at once upon a time Lake Bonneville.
Yeah, because salt's not fucking abundant.
So there's a lot of sediment, there's a lot of valuable soil. There's obviously interesting salt pack, but ultimately we're the second driest state in the nation. Right. So there's really not massive amount of resources for a gigantic population.
So what you can apply, what you can give the country, what you can allow the rest of the country, you're pretty much nil. Would you agree? Yes or no?
Not when it comes to granite and rock for roads or just building.
What about
building materials? No, I would not.
Agriculture, corn, grain, tomatoes.
So we believe it or not, it's fucking stupid, but second driest state in the nation, and we grow a lot of alfalfa, which requires it to have like standing water, like so much water it's fucking standing, like that's just fucking asinine. But so we make things happen, but it's not something that probably should have happened. So it's hard for me to fully say, because I've seen human ingenuity do things that really shouldn't happen, which sometimes that's for good and sometimes that's for ill. Whereas
I was born and raised in California, and California provides 70% 73 to 75% of the agricultural needs of the rest of the United States, and anywhere from 25 to 45% of the hydroelectric needs of the state. And not to mention that it is next to New York and Chicago, one of the most highly populated places in the United States. Would you agree with that?
Well, sure.
Okay.
I mean, you're reading it, right?
Okay. No, I'm not reading it. That strictly is from what I grew up in. Yeah, that's strictly what I grew up in. So realistically, out of the 50 states, would you agree that California has more influence in how the states as a union, these United States, realistically, you get more agriculture, fruit, vegetables, electricity, everything else, from cultural to movies to everything else? Because last I checked, there wasn't a big industry in movies in New York.
Yes,
you get a lot more out of California than you do Utah.
Your state's better than his state.
No, it's not a matter of better. It's not. No. It's not a matter of better.
Well, California is also the 5th largest economy in the world.
Exactly.
California actually has a bigger economy ahead of the UK.
Right.
But it's also got rampant wealth inequality.
Yes, it does. I'm not arguing that. But at the same time, when it comes to right-wing Christian bullshit fucking beliefs and everything else, Utah has more say in the United States government currently than California does. That's
for sure. In some ways, like maybe not necessarily in the House of Representatives, but for sure in the Senate, because there's such a smaller amount of people. So each senator, represents a much bigger part of the pie. In the same way, like I'm a delegate within the Utah Democratic Party, and we recently had a special election to replace our county mayor, Salt Lake County mayor, because that mayor became our Congressional District 4 representative. So that created a vacuum. We then, since it's a partisan office, then the delegates from that partisan party had to come together and vote, which about 500 of us or so came and voted, which means about 2,200, like I represented about 2,200 people because there's 1.1 million people in Salt Lake County and about 500 of us voted, give or take. And there's definitely some room for number crunching there. And then that created a vacuum because a person who is currently on a Salt Lake County Council seat at large, which represents the entire county, then filled that. And then we voted again to fill that seat that was, and so then again, here I am again being, one person for, representing about 2,200 people. So Utah for sure has a much bigger voice in comparison to the population as opposed to California when it comes to the Senate, which is why Utah is actually, if I'm not mistaken, Utah is actually the worst when it comes to dark money. We are the most lax on laws and just allow a lot of dark corruption, which is right up with make sure you're tithing.
So here's my question for you. I'm not political. I'm not involved. I'm not involved. I'm not currently actively in any way, shape, or form involved in the political aspect of where I live, the country, or the county that I'm in, and everything else. And the reason being is we have shown nationally that elections don't fucking matter here. And I don't have the money to make a choice.
I could differ a little bit. There's definitely nuance in there.
Well, we've had...
And what I mean by there's nuance in there.
We've had 4 runoff elections.
The same way that we dumb down the public, but the same way that we dumb down the public as far as public education to make sure that people only know what to think instead of how to think, we teach people, and it's very important for the system to teach people that voting doesn't matter. That way you don't vote. And so the reason why we had, the turd off of 2016 of Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump is because half the country they just can't bring themselves to care because they don't see any benefit in joining in.
No, but it's a cheese sandwich or a six sandwich with cheese, right? Still shit.
Right. So if you could teach them that there is a reason, like you said, just bring yourself to vote for Bernie. What do you have to lose? Just bring yourself to do it. If you could teach people that there really is some benefit to, if nothing else, just voting, and to the point where they could actually buy into that and think that that's actually a valuable idea, we would see a certain amount of change, and we would likely see that voting does matter more than it currently does now.
Especially if you vote in a primary where your vote has more power, and if you vote in the primary for local elections where your vote is the strongest because there's so few people who give a shit about their local elections.
Right. Now, so
for
going
sure,
back
absolutely.
Since I've been gone for the little bit and getting used to, my current real life situation, if you will, I've come across quite a few fucking people. You can't mention the word Trump to them without mentioning that Hillary should be in jail, or Hillary should be this, or Hillary should be that. And it's like, it's one of those things that's like, dude, she didn't win. You get that, right? She's not making policy. She's not signing bills. She's not politically. She's at home fucking rubbing one out while Bill's at the fucking store getting a 12-pack of beer and a fucking pack of smokes. She's not really doing anything politically. Behind the scenes, I can't say that because their foundation is far-reaching. I will give you that. But to me, it goes into the same vein as, if you're a lobbyist, you're a piece of shit, you need to be shot. If you are a diplomat, if you will, or a congressman or a senator, and you're more worried about, if I say this, then these people aren't going to give me money, and if I vote this way, they're not going to give me money, you need to be shot. Because realistically, you're not doing the job that we put you in position to do. Now, if I'm wrong, by all means, feel free, jump in, correct me, but that's kind of, I mean, it sounds very fatalistic, but you know what? When I'm living paycheck to paycheck and I'm 2 days away from having the flu or getting in a car accident or bad fucking sushi, if I'm 2 or 3 days away from fucking us, not only for the month, but for the next 3 or 4 months, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I work hard for my money. I pay my taxes. I want my kid to get a good education. I don't care what your religious beliefs or your abortion. I really don't care. I really don't.
And with that, we're going to have to go ahead and wrap this uber special episode up.
God damn it. All right.
Jessie, as always, man, it's been a pleasure hearing your stories, going on your verbal journey with you. Mr. Cameron, oh my God. Your articulation
I love talking to Josh so
capability
much.
of translating Jessie is unmatched, sir.
Pretty much.
Well, it's Jessie represents a demographic that I've worked with in the oil industry, in the trucking industry, working in factories, working as a soldier. And so, it's important to me, especially if I do run for office, to actually to tap into that, because I'm a crazy, angry guy myself, but I also like to be a little bit more rational. But, it's been a fucking pleasure talking to you guys.
I will buy a fucking 1 foot by 1 foot land plot in fucking Utah or wherever. Whatever I need to get you in the office, dude, hands down, I'll get you in the office. And the reason being is you're humanitarian. Humanitarian, first and foremost, is what I want to put out there. I am a humanitarian. I love all of us. Black, white, Muslim, I don't care. I love you as a person. I want you in this country to succeed as a person in your career, in your personal. I don't care. I don't care. Christians, I love you as much as everyone else. I want you to succeed. But at the same time, I want everyone, that's the key word there, folks, everyone to succeed in life as an American. No bullshit with Russia, no this, no that, no Bezos, no billionaires. Us as Americans, first and foremost. You're an American in my eyes. Human, first and foremost, then American. Then we can talk about other subcategories. But even then, I'm all inclusive of all of them. I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to be happy. I want my kid to be able to go to college. I want my kid to be able to get health care. I smoke. If I get cancer, I don't want to die because I can't pay the $180,000. If I get cancer, there's a lot of shit that's gonna go down that you guys would fucking see in the news.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care, everybody.
Stay tuned.
Fucking 2.0.
Say goodbye, Jesse.
All right, love you guys.